Hey everyone, Fatty from Pack-a-Punch Traders here. Gonna go over a couple of trades from today as well as the overall uh, start to the week, how it's going, momentum in the market, as well as top plays for tomorrow. So BBAI was my first trade on the day. Was looking at all of the AI plays for previous high of day breaks to confirm, ideally combined with open price VWAP reclaim, which in this case it was, and it also had 6 whole dollar, half dollar area, key level psychologically. So was looking for a nice push up into the low sevens. My entry was 617. Not too bad. Could have been a little better, but I think I was on the right track. It just didn't really have the momentum for it. It was really choppy in the morning, and we got that all on the live stream. It was going back and forth, some long wicks at both ends. But when it looked like it figured out what it wanted to do, volume just kept gradually picking up here for this period. And then I thought that was a decent bottom set here in the high fives, right around open price, coming back with decent volume. But ended up getting exhausted here and then absolutely failing. And I even got a little bit um, lower of a sell than expected. So $36 loss, nothing crazy. Only had 150 shares. Wasn't trying to go for a home run with this play. I understood where these plays were in their chart. They're up decently. I know there's a lot of noise with the AI plays, a lot of eyes on them, but at the same time, a lot of these plays have come off of solid 150% pushes, so might be due for some consolidation if they are going to head higher. Um, so BBAI just ended up not working, and I am actually taking a small size position, just 125 shares. I'm in at 6. Got in here after hours, and now we're up a little over 5% here. So we'll be looking for a nice push to get above 7. That's really my main goal out of this play. I think it can even head higher. If it gets to the sevens, I'm thinking we can get a nice push into the high sevens, 8 region. Um, but one step at a time. Not gonna be too wild with this move. Only have small size. I just have a hypothesis on what this thing should do tomorrow, and I'm just putting a little bit of money into it because it's just what I think. I just want to put my money where my mouth is, and we'll see how this shapes up. I just saw all of these AI plays, the ones that broke out. There's SOUN as well. That one actually moved after hours. This was a great play. I just hesitated and decided to take BBAI instead and pay the price so far. The other one's still holding up. It's a lower float. So we'll see if they can fail to break down. And this is what I'm talking about. Some of these AI plays that broke out and gapped up, they sold off, but they never really broke down. So that's why I'm thinking we can still possibly have further squeezing. As the charts are still making higher lows, they're still intact. Shorts had their angle, but they didn't totally take over, and that led to this whole squeeze. And I am thinking BBAI should follow suit tomorrow morning. Hopefully, we get a gap up. I'm expecting either a gap up, if not a spike at the open. If I don't get those out right away, so I'm always pretty cautious with overnight plays. I don't typically take overnight trades, so that's why also I'm taking small position. But what brought me back on the day was a beautiful multi-day bounce. So here we got Lucy right out of the watch list. Was looking for failure to push lower as we had this incredible move, about 150%, more than that. Um, so now that we're decently off the highs, held around 2, key level psychologically, as well as you can see here, it couldn't really push lower. It finished green on this day, and there really wasn't any volume there. So as long as it's kept holding up, in my eyes, it could offer a squeeze because you got a lot of shorts that are probably in this thing from the fours, the low threes, just pushing it lower and lower, and they're up decently 30-50%. So if it's failing to push even lower around a key area too, that could bring in some dip buyers, and that could bring in some more covering, some more buying from shorts covering their position, locking in their profits as they're seeing that it's failing to push lower and they're already up. They'll lock in gains. So, something we always talk about. It is my favorite pattern to trade, and we capitalized nicely on this. Early on, missed it. I didn't really like the volume that was going on with it. I was watching other plays, BBAI, and this one gave a nice quick little push, but ended up getting stuffed. But what it kept doing was holding up. So although we got a decent little pullback, if you zoom out and just look at the overall chart, what it's been doing, this play is holding up. It held two. Now it was holding red green, and also held the morning high that we look for it to break and confirm. So this right here, I just saw as confirmation and alerted it in the stream before I logged off. I said I want to put my stop loss for BBAI in case that doesn't work, and we're going to keep an eye on Lucy because although there isn't great volume right now, and I don't totally love it, if it comes back, reclaims the VWAP, continues to make higher lows, it can bring in the volume needed to fuel the multi-day bounce. And when all those shorts are out and people are done chasing and dip buyers are not there, they don't want to chase anymore, where's the fuel left to push it even higher? So that's why you get a move like this. So it typically just goes straight up and straight down is how I think an ideal multi-day bounce is. Or maybe not ideal, but the way I'm used to trading them. Sometimes you'll have plays that are able to hold up. There's enough buyers. For example, HSCS. This was a multi-day bounce. Here took off pre-market. In this case, it had news, and that's what led to a whole entire other move. So they don't always act the same, but what does in this market? So just saw the failure to break down higher lows, completely different price action than what it was doing for the past day and a half, and I thought that could lead to a nice bounce, which it did. And the only other thing I'm pretty pumped about was mapping out where it should get to before the trade even happened, because I have the data on this, and on average, we get a 30% move from previous close. And I'll pull my calculator out again just to confirm. So I'm not just talking out of my ass here. So previous close 232 times 0.3 plus 2.32, 3.016. So I'm loving my sell at 301. Just straight up, volume got exhausted. Straight vertical into a whole dollar, half dollar area, 30%. And I was up over 15%. That is a great place to lock it in. And entry wise, the way I work with this is because I normally like to start with a small position, see how it's holding up. If it fails to break down and proves to do what I would like, just add before it really starts taking off when it shows that it's making higher lows and it's heading in my favor. So got 400 shares at 247, and we got a nice little perk here. Broke to new highs, and right at the new high, pretty much just underneath at 257, I was getting another 400 shares. So solid trade, 252, 301. And besides that, really, I don't think there was much. Oh, BBBY. Last one. I didn't want this video to get long, but here we are. So BBBY, we got, I think it was, what was it, Ryan Cohen joining. Where are we at? Pretty sure I saw it. 1 second. There we are. 1 second. Nordstrom shares. Okay, so I was looking at a different one. Is that gonna be part of Bed Bath and Beyond? I'm not sure. Okay, that was a few days ago. So I was thinking maybe that could influence what's going on. Um, but I guess I had the wrong idea of the news when I saw it on my phone. This thing here, just an insane push. Bigger float, but look at the volume. Good lesson on demand really fueling the plays. This is what we really look for, even if it is a higher float. If the demand is there, still has a chance of pushing higher. And the way this could have been played here was just a breakout from about 6. You got a quick angle to 7. Nothing crazy. Never really saw an ideal setup with this thing, as you got a red candle breakout all the way down in 360s. I don't know, just nothing for me. Intraday, I like it. Intraday, you got this little spike, failure to break down, consolidates for about an hour or two, and then comes back for a high at daybreak, continues to hold VWAP. It looked fantastic intraday, but it just didn't check off all the boxes, and yeah, that's really it. Sometimes you're just gonna ignore plays or just let things move. Not every single thing that's moving is a great opportunity. Sometimes it's not, doesn't set up properly, doesn't um, fit all my criteria or whatever the case. So just because a play is moving, don't feel like you have to be a part of it and make money. Sometimes with that thinking, you'll end up losing money, forcing plays, and just trying to follow the momentum. Sometimes, just sticking to your rules and letting a play go sometimes, if it's not perfect, is really the best option. Because if you just sit back and maybe not trade every day and just wait for A plus setups, which have been coming around a little bit more often than usual recently, so far at the beginning of this year. But you can if you just maximize on those opportunities, you can still grow your account, instead of trying to trade whatever momentum there is day in day out. So let's get on to the watch list. I'm so tired. It's been a long day for me. IRNT. So we got a nice setup here. Daily chart looking very good. Continues to hold around the 34, 35 cent area. And as you can see, we got strong demand on the pushes higher. And then when it's consolidating and pulling back, there really isn't much selling pressure. Volume isn't that high. So, in my eyes, this thing has some strength behind it. All I'm looking for now is for the confirmation of the 58-60 region. Take a look here intraday, which here it is, kind of breaking out. Hopefully this doesn't just gap up and take off. Um, Looking for a failure breakdown, confirmation of the breakout level, and from there looking for a test of 70. Just taking a quick snipe, 10, 15, 20% opportunity. That's the first resistance level. After that, it can see the 80s. So we'll see the type of demand it has and how it sets up. Hopefully, we get an opportunity with this and it doesn't just take off. I know I don't typically focus on New York Stock Exchange plays, but if the momentum's there, it's acting right, you're comfortable trading it, go for it. Sometimes you could bend the rules here and there. I know I just talked about a play being perfect, but at the same time, don't be so oblivious to things. I've missed out in the past on some plays that were New York Stock Exchange tickers, and they were moving like any other penny stock. and I was just completely ignoring it because I'm so used to plays in this exchange not moving that way, and that's why I have that rule. So it's okay to adapt, but play it how comfortable you are. You don't have to force plays. You don't have to trade anything. You can take some time off, just study. There's no one correct way to go through this journey in trading. Do what suits you, your time, your situation. So yeah, IRNT looking for the breakout, the confirmation for a nice 10, 15, maybe 20% move if you got the patience. Then we got BBAI, as I mentioned, small position in this thing at 6, looking for a push higher to the 7s. SOUN already giving that continuation that I was looking for. So we'll see how this sets up. But that one might be getting a bit too far here. We're going to be going on to day 3. I usually hesitate when it comes to plays that are on past day 2. Sometimes day 2 itself, I don't prefer to trade. Momentum just kind of dies off. But we'll see what the reaction is. If there's enough demand and people are talking about it, it's failing to break down, it can offer a move. But as of now, we'll see how long these AI junk plays can keep pushing. It's already been 2 days on this chart. I'm thinking it might need to cool down beforehand if it was still closer to the 390s area, VWAP 4-ish. I would think maybe, okay, let's get another push higher, but this thing broke into 5 and now it's holding mid 4s. So in my eyes personally, I think this one I might have just missed the opportunity with it, which is why I will be focusing on BBAI. And we'll see what other AI plays work out. There's FFIE. Ooh, wee, look at that. What else was there? There's a few plays. I'm just blanking out right now. GFI, another one. But I'm really excited also. VINO. Besides IRNT, if IRNT goes, I'll have VINO. Unless this thing takes off pre-market and just kills the move. That's one thing that sometimes forget to mention. Pre-market with the multi-day bounces, or even if it's after hours, once that squeeze happens, we don't really have fuel for the move. Unless there's news that might pique my interest to keep looking at it, but once that fuel is gone, the shorts are squeezed out, the dip buyers are out, they're done with the move. There's nothing left. So when the chart isn't looking familiar, just ignore. If it does the move, don't try to chase and feel bad you missed out. There'll be another one around the corner. So here we are with this thing with an insane push from the low mid ones all the way to 6, and now here we are down over 50% from the highs, holding around 2.5. Late day here we got a little crack below 2.5, but besides that it held pretty well. So maybe that's the key area that it wants to hover around and base for a bounce play. But right now this thing is my one of my main watches. I think about IRNT. If that is a dud or if I'm not comfortable with it, I'll turn my attention to VINO. Of course, there's gonna be BBAI, but I think those AI plays are kind of reaching maybe not the end, maybe just a short term top, but they do need some time to cool off. And the main reason I was taking BBAI was I was just seeing the failure to break down today, and I just think that could invite some more squeezing. But after that squeezing, I think if not over, it's gonna be a cool off period for these plays. Um, but yeah, back to VINO multi-day bounce. Let's already measure what we should be expecting out of this. 235 times 0.3 plus 2.35. So we'll round up. 306 is going to be 30% from the close today. So it does have a little bit of resistance there, as we can see. Could be a key area to stuff the play, whole dollar, half dollar area. So also a low float, won't need a whole ton of force to really push the move, and we'll be gauging the volume relative to what it's been doing the past couple of days. Not much volume today, so we get anything strong. Let's see what the level here is. If this can load, chop chop. What is this, like 50k, maybe less? Can this arrow line up already? Jesus Christ. Okay, just take forever. Point is, compare it to what it was doing today and the day before, yesterday. Yeah, so we're about 50, 40-ish. Yeah, so we'll see what it's doing. If it's doing a few 100,000 share candles, maybe a little bit more than that, something that's different compared to what it was doing since yesterday morning, um, that could be a good indication. If it's combining that, it's got to be accompanied with higher lows, higher day break, at least a few minutes of consolidation, proving failure to break down, and then the higher day break. That would be the trigger. Okay, and then GMVD and GSUN. Really? Come on. Ah, service is whack right now. Oh, awesome. So GMVD here. Still waiting for the volume. It isn't anything spectacular. I have been keeping it on watch probably a bit longer than I should or typically do. Some of these multi-day bounces after a week of just fading, I just get tired of them. There's gonna be other plays. I need to point my attention in other at other plays that are moving, and I'm not gonna miss something that's gonna be right in front of me, waiting for the multi-day bounce to set up. If it sets up, fantastic. If it takes too long, whatever. There'll likely be another 150% or more spiker within the week that I could end up using as my next multi-day bounce. So this one's showing some bottoming around 3.5, steep pullback from 7, and a little choppiness here, and some longer wicks, some indecision after a clean one-sided move lower. Now that we're getting a bit of indecision, that could lead to a bounce setup. So GMVD, keep that on watch for that setup, as well as GSUN. This one, as I've mentioned, didn't quite get to 150%, but got close enough, and I like the chart, the way it's setting up. Here we are, decently off the highs. Failure to break down. Inverted hammer, right? No. No, usually the inverted hammer has a little bit thicker body at the bottom. Um, But regardless, whatever the name is, I'm liking the momentum that this is showing. It's continuing to hold two very well. Volume is fading, and that's showing there's not much selling pressure left. They're having a hard time pushing it lower, so that could lead to some squeezing. I think that is it. Alrighty. Once again, a bit longer video than I would have liked, but what can I say? We'll just wrap it up. Hope everyone had a great day.